Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Warrior Code International. As you probably know, Tyjani Beztati is moving to MMA. He's about to compete at Levels Fight League in Amsterdam, the Netherlands. So what is my opinion? Will Tyjani Beztati compete well in MMA? Will he make a good transition? Obviously, we've seen Alex Pereira, we've seen Israel Adesanya. They've been very effective in MMA, but there have also been other examples of fighters who did transition to MMA and were successful at kickboxing, but did not achieve anything in MMA. So what is my opinion? My opinion is that Tyjani Beztati will have a very, very successful transition to mixed martial arts. And the reason for that is the fact that after watching a number of his fights today, a number of his kickboxing fights, because at Glory Kickboxing he was a 6-time world champion at lightweight. At Glory Kickboxing he moved to welterweight, and at welterweight he also fought for the title twice. So after watching all these fights, after getting to know Tyjani even better, although I've known him for a while, although I've interviewed him a couple of times, although I've had a stare down with him during a Glory program. We were playing football at the football field, and me and Tyjani were supposed to take penalties, so we did have a stare down with Tyjani. So I know Tyjani very well. I've seen him fight live, I've seen him fight on television, but today I took my time to watch his fights more in depth, to study him a bit more, and I will tell you, he will be very successful in MMA. Why? Because first of all, he never ever fought using the Dutch way of kickboxing. So the Dutch style of kickboxing he never applied. He never used his guard, he never fought guard heavy. He was always keeping the left hand here, measuring the distance, moving a lot, using his reach. So he'll measure the distance with the left hand, then place the right, or measure the distance, throw a tip kick. He did possess phenomenal tip kicks. And he still possesses them. So phenomenal tip kicks, phenomenal jab, phenomenal footwork. He never stays in the same line as his opponent. He always moves to the side. For example, when he throws a combination, when he finishes, he moves to the side, to the right or to the left side. He never stays in the pocket for too long. He throws the combination and then he gets out of there. When being attacked, he never shells up. No. He keeps on moving. He uses his footwork. You'll never see Tyjani stuck at the ropes in the corner. No, he uses his footwork, his lateral movement to stay out of danger. So very good defensive footwork, very good offensive footwork, phenomenal jab, phenomenal distance management. Does not use the Dutch style of kickboxing. Uses his reach, uses his height advantage, manages the distance very well. Is very unpredictable, possesses a number of weapons. It could be a tip kick. For example, the way he finished Patch with a tip kick. It could be a mid kick. He's got very, very powerful mid kicks. When he fought the Japanese fighter, Kato, I believe, I might be mistaken, but the Kato, I believe, yeah, that should be the name. Phenomenal left mid kick, phenomenal tip kicks, phenomenal calf kicks. If you watch his first fight with Chico Fazi, but also the second one, both of them extremely competitive. Both of them ended in a draw, but you can also see there that he was just using so many weapons, a variety of punches. For example, he was fighting backwards and throwing left hook, right hook. He was fighting forwards and throwing the left liver shot. He was so unpredictable, so unorthodox, and he can also fight from an unorthodox stance, from a southpaw stance. So he can fight very well obviously his specialty is the orthodox stance, but he can also fight from a southpaw stance. And as I said, he can walk fighting backwards but also forwards. When you put pressure on him, he never shells up. He always keeps on looking, avoids your punches, avoids your kicks, counters very well with the left hook, with the right hook, is never out of range, never overextends, uses so many different kicks and punches that he's so unpredictable. And a person like him transitioning into MMA, of course, the big question will be, yeah, but wrestling and grappling. Well, guess what? I believe that he does have the potential to become very good at wrestling, because I know that he has also spoken on that he does have the natural inclination to wrestle well. So he does have the instinct, he does have the inclination to be good at wrestling. And in terms of jiu-jitsu, it could be learned. It could be learned. And never forget, Tyjani does not have to be a black belt on the ground. He does not have to be the best jiu-jitsu fighter. He only needs to survive there and then stand up. That's important. He needs to have solid takedown defense, and once he's on the ground, he needs to stand up quickly. For example, Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley was not a kickboxer, but he's known for his striking. He can strike very well. He does have very good takedown defense. But even when he gets taken down, he stands up very quickly. For example, when he fought against Petr Yan, you remember he would get taken down, but he would stand up. And that's a very important skill which Tyjani Beztati needs to develop. Of course, if you fight an opponent, for example, when Sean O'Malley faced Merab Dvalishvili, in that case, he could not stand up. But Merab is a different level of a wrestler. But what I mean is that if Tyjani Beztati does develop a solid takedown defense, if he works on his grappling, and I know he's doing that because he mentioned it in interviews that he's spending plenty of hours on the ground, and knowing his dedication, knowing his, as he also mentioned, that he is a person, when he chooses a certain sport or a certain endeavor, he completely dedicates himself to that endeavor or that area or that sport. So I believe that he will be fully dedicated to MMA. I believe that he will improve his grappling. I believe he will improve his wrestling. But the point of this video is to explain that his MMA striking is very solid. He is a good MMA striker. Although we've never seen that in real life, I know that it will be solid because I've seen how he kickboxes. I've seen him at Glory Kickboxing, and the way he fought translates very well into MMA. Adesanya and Pereira, why did their styles translate into MMA? Well, they never fought using the Dutch style. They never shelled up. Adesanya was fighting with the hands low, using a lot of feints, using all the weapons in an unpredictable way. He never stuck to the disciplined way of keeping the hands up, 1, 2, hook, low kick. No, it was a wide variety of weapons, unpredictable. That's it, and that worked in kickboxing, and that translates very well to MMA. Alex Pereira, the same story. Pereira did keep his hands a bit higher, but again, it was no Dutch style of kickboxing. Again, it was a lot of movement, a lot of feints, a wide variety of weapons, nothing orthodox, very unpredictable, and that's a style that works. You need to be unorthodox, unpredictable in kickboxing. You cannot use the Dutch style of kickboxing when moving to MMA. And Tyjani, as I mentioned already probably 5 times, he's exactly that guy. He's not using the Dutch style of kickboxing. He's got phenomenal footwork. He never stays in the same line as the opponent, uses a wide variety of weapons, has a very beautiful jab, can box very well, does possess very solid kicks, especially the deep kicks. They will be very effective in MMA because they take the oxygen out of the opponent. So Tyjani is a very complete striker with a very high fight IQ, and I cannot wait to see him competing at Levels Fight League. I have been at Levels Fight League many times. I have been conducting interviews with their fighters, and it's a very well organized combat sports organization. It's Donovan, the owner, Donovan Panayotis, you know, he's a very serious man who does invest in the company. There are a number of high-level fighters competing there, a number of Dutch high-level fighters, but also European, former Cage Warriors fighters, former Bellator fighters, former One Championship fighters. So Levels Fight League is a very solid organization, and it's a very smart decision from Tyjani to start there because they will slowly build him up. They will not let him fight against a high-level wrestler in his MMA debut. They will build him up slowly, and because LFL does have solid connections with the Ultimate Fighting Championship, with UFC, he might possibly at a certain stage get to the Contender series or even get a UFC contract, you never know. But anyways, I believe that if Tyjani gets to win, let's say 6 fights, maybe 7, I can easily see him competing at the Dana White Contender series or even getting a UFC contract because he's got a very, very solid CV. He has been a 6-time Glory World Champion, so the future is very bright for Tyjani, and with his dedication, with his strong mindset, strong mentality, and with the natural inclinations and talents and gifts which he's got for fighting, I believe that he will translate very well into MMA. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Make sure to follow Warrior Code International. Make sure to subscribe. I need you because at the moment I've only got 408 subscribers, and I need to reach these 1,000. If I don't reach these 1,000 subscribers within 2.5 months, it's all over. So please support the channel. Follow Warrior Code International. Support me on my mission. Sky's the limit for you, for me, for everyone. Let's go. Us.